on his way to second base with a 2-run double. And the Padres have made it crooked here in the fifth inning. It's 6-2.
Manny Machado and the Padres cruise to a series win against the San Francisco Giants as the Padres take this Thursday matinee by a final score of 8-4. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. Welcome into our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show here on the Padres Radio Network. The Padres, after losing the series opener on Monday night, bounced back in a really big way. They improved to 72-56 on the season. Giants dropped to 61-67. And with the Dodgers winning in Colorado today, the Padres maintain a one-game deficit in the NL West standings. And oh, by the way, the Dodgers come to town for a 3-game series starting tomorrow. So things will be very, very tight when the Dodgers roll into San Diego later on tonight, and the Padres certainly will have an opportunity to get a little payback at the hands of the Dodgers for what happened in L.A. over last weekend. But first things first, we recap what was a very nice win for the Padres here today. They take 3 out of 4 from San Francisco as they win this game 8-4. Ramon Laureano had a nice day for the Padres, a single to begin what would become a 6-run fifth inning. He had an RBI single later in that fifth inning to score the 6th run of that big inning for the Padres. Ramon has been so good offensively for the Padres since the trade deadline. I caught up with Ramon on the field right after today's win. Ramon, Justin Verlander on the mound for the Giants today. He got off to a good start, 3 perfect innings, but then your lineup got to him in the 4th inning. How were you able to get to him the second time through the order?
Yeah, he did a really good job the first time through the lineup, and we were able to, find a little rhythm, a little groove, and we just kept it going.
You had 2 hits today. You started a rally. You also had an RBI single. How do you continue to have such success offensively after the trade?
Just not trying to do too much. Just play with what the game gives me, and not try to be a hero. Just help this team win games.
Manny Machado had a couple of hits today, big 2-run double. What's it been like being Manny's teammate so far?
Unbelievable. This guy's a tremendous leader. He really wants to win really, really bad, and I couldn't be more happy to be on his side.
You lose the first game of this series. You bounce back to win 3 in a row to win the series. How significant is it to come back and win this series the way you did?
Extremely important times, and that tells you that we're always going to fight back, and we came out with a series win.
Speaking of important times, Dodgers coming to town. You guys will be 1 game out of first place starting tomorrow. What do you want this team's mindset to be entering that series?
Nothing. Just keep it going. Keep it going. We know what we're doing, and there's nothing to really worry about. It's just another different uniform. That's all. We just got to keep it going and keep doing our job.
Ramon, great job today. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Sam.
That was Ramon Laureano right after today's 8-4 win. Nice day for Ramon. Couple of hits. Padres once again had contributions up and down their lineup, and you have to really like what they did bouncing back in this series after a disappointing loss on Monday to the Giants. And now the Padres welcome in the Dodgers for a 3-game series starting tomorrow. We'll step aside. When we come back, we have all the radio highlights for you. We'll hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt coming up a little bit later as well. Much more to do on our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show. We continue after this on the Padres Radio Network.
Hey guys, it's Woodsy. A full
Casino Resort Padres postgame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as the Padres win it 8-4 on this Thursday afternoon to take the 4-game series from the Giants. Padres have now won 3 in a row, and they will take on the LA Dodgers in a series beginning tomorrow. Padres will begin that series just 1 game out of first place in the National League West. We'll go back downstairs, hear from Mike Shildt coming up in just a little bit, and continue to wrap this one up. We'll have our daily awards, your phone calls at 833-288-0973. And then shortly after the top of the hour, it will be Chris Ello, Max Graby, today's edition of Gwynn and Chris, coming your way here on 97.3 The Fan. Let's recap this one from start to finish.
Which moments determine the outcome of today's game? We'll paint you a picture with our game highlights on the Padres Radio Network.
Our starting pitching matchup today, Dylan Cease on the mound for the Padres, Justin Verlander on the mound for San Francisco. Both right-handers threw 2 scoreless innings to begin the day. Then the Padres had a very uncharacteristic top of the third. Luis Matos hit a fly ball to right center. Very playable, but miscommunication between Fernando Tatis Jr. in right and Ramon Laureano in center. The ball dropped in, allowed Matos to go all the way to third base for a leadoff triple on a ball that should have been caught in right center. Next up for the Giants was Andrew Knizner.
Goes as a triple for Matos officially. Now Knizner lines one to right. Fernando over towards the line, can't get there. It's to play it on a hop. Now it kicks away from him. The run will score. Knizner trying for 2, and he's in ahead of the tag from Bogaerts. So the Giants go ahead on a triple and a double, 1-0 here in the third.
Jung-Hoo Lee then hit a ground ball to second. Jake Cronenworth couldn't field it cleanly. Lee was safe at first base. Knizner went to third, an error on Cronenworth. Elliot Ramos then grounded into a double play. Knizner scored from third base. It was 2-0 Giants. Meanwhile, Verlander started his day really nicely. Went 9 up, 9 down to begin the game. But then the Padres got to him in the bottom half of the 4th inning. Fernando Tatis Jr. doubled to start the frame. Luis Arise singled to send Tatis to third base. Manny Machado was next.
See if Arise runs from first base. He does. Manny swings, loops it into shallow left center field. That's going to get down and a base hit. Tatis will come in to score. Arise got a great read. He goes to third, and Manny Machado puts the Pods on the board. It's 2-1.
Xander Bogaerts hit a sac fly to score a rise from third. We were tied at 2. Still a 2-2 game going bottom 5. Justin Verlander on the mound. Ramon Laureano hit a leadoff single. Jake Cronenworth walked. Freddie Fermin was next.
Runners lead. Here's the pitch. He bunts it towards third base. Oh, it's a beauty. Picked up by Schmidt. Throw to first is wide, and it goes up the line. Laureano's on his way home, and the Padres take the lead. Now a little bit of a bobble in right by Matos, and Cronenworth will score. Oh, boy. 2 different errors on a bunt by Fermin. The Padres get 2, and they lead for the first time today. It's 4-2.
Yeah, there were 2 errors on the play. The throwing error by Schmidt. Matos also committing an error. 2 runs came in. The Padres, as Jesse said, had a 4-2 lead on a bunt from Freddie Fermin. Just a mess of a play from the Giants' standpoint. Fernando Tatis Jr. then bunted himself for a single. A couple of batters later, there were 2 in scoring position for Mr. Manny Machado.
Pitch here, laced into left center field. That's a base hit. Fermin has scored. Tatis is jogging home. Manny on his way to second base with a 2-run double. And the Padres have made it crooked here in the 5th inning. It's 6-2.
That was it for Verlander. Left-hander Matt Gage came in. He hit Ryan O'Hearn to put 2 on base. That brought up Xander Bogaerts.
Xander cracks it on the ground at third base and through into left field, a base hit. Machado will trot home with another run. O'Hearn going first to third, right in Ramos's face. And the Padres add on at 7-2.
Padres weren't done later in the inning. Still runners on base for Ramon Laureano.
First and third, 2 outs. Padres with a 5-run lead, and Laureano muscles one on the ground through the right side and a base hit. O'Hearn will come in to score. Xander stops at second, and another here in the bottom of the 5th inning. It's 8-2.
Dylan Cease, who had to wait around for a while as that long inning unfolded. It was a 6-run, 6-hit bottom half of the 5th inning. Obviously, a couple of big errors in that inning as well. But back to Cease. He took the mound for the top of the 6th inning. Padres leading 8-2, and Cease was greeted rather rudely. Rafael Devers and Willy Adames hit back-to-back home runs against him to begin the top of the 6th inning. It was an 4 game. That was it for Cease. He went 5 innings and allowed 4 runs, all earned, and the score was 8-4 when he left. From that point on, the Padres bullpen simply dominated once again. Jeremiah Estrada got through the 6th inning, started the 7th inning, handed things off to Adrian Morajón, who got through the 7th inning, started the 8th inning. Mason Miller got the final 2 outs of the 8th inning. Padres still led 8-4 going to the 9th inning. Not a safe situation, but the Padres went to Robert Suarez, and it was Robert who put on the finishing touch.
Pitch on the way to Bailey, and a swing and a miss. Couple of Ks for Suarez in a 1-2-3 ninth as he closes the door on the Giants here in 2025. Padres take 3 out of 4 in this series. They finished the season 10-3 against the Giants, and they will head into this weekend series against the Dodgers, trailing just 1 game behind LA in the National League West.
A really nice win. 8 runs on 11 hits, 1 error for San Diego. For the Giants, 4 runs, 7 hits, and 2 errors. Padres improved to 72-56. Giants dropped to 61-67. And after losing Monday night's game, it was a 4th loss in a row at the time. The Padres bounced back with 3 consecutive wins to win this 4-game series. And the Padres also complete a really, really nice season series against San Francisco. They go 10-3 against the Giants in this season series, and they outscore the Giants in this season series by 36 runs. So 10-3 against the Giants this year, 36 runs in the plus department as far as the run differential between these two teams. The other thing that happened today, and we talked about it in our keys to the game, Padres bullpen was simply tremendous against the Giants this season. Padres relievers put up a sub-1 ERA in 44 1/3 innings against the Giants this year, and they end the season series against San Francisco with 27 consecutive scoreless innings as a bullpen against the Giants offense. So we know the Padres bullpen is great. They're dominant. They're versatile. The optionality they have with the arms back there, and they were especially dominant against the Giants this year in the 13 meetings, and today no different as the Padres win it 8-4. We'll step aside. When we come back, we hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Much more to do as we continue to wrap this one up. Padres win this series finale. They take 3 out of 4 from San Francisco, and they welcome in the Dodgers for a 3-game series tomorrow, with the Padres being just 1 game out of first place in the National League West. Our post-game coverage from Petco Park continues after this on the Padres Radio Network.
You're listening.
Our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we continue to wrap this one up. Final score here today, Padres 8 and the Giants 4. Hey, player, the all-new Jamul Casino Resort is all for you with a Lux Hotel, a relaxing spa, and rooftop pool. This is the place to enjoy all the perks of your casino fun. The all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players' Place, now open. Padres win it 8-4 against the Giants on this Thursday afternoon. Padres doing a very, very nice job bouncing back in this series after losing the series opener on Monday night. The Rockies losing to the Dodgers in Colorado today, so Padres don't pick up ground on the Dodgers like they did yesterday. They will enter the series against LA tomorrow, one game out of first place in the National League West, and the Padres also, of course, sitting in the National League's second wild card spot. So the Padres right in the mix here, despite what was a very frustrating weekend in LA, and they'll try to flip the script on the Dodgers this coming weekend here in San Diego. The West Divisional Showdown against San Francisco was presented by Palomar Health, reimagining healthcare. Again, just a recap of this one. Padres did not do a whole lot against Justin Verlander in this game. He went 9 up, 9 down to start the day. Padres then got to him in the fourth inning after Dylan Cease gave up a couple of runs in the third, and I'll tell you what, it really wasn't on Dylan Cease in the third. Padres played very uncharacteristic, sloppy defense in that third inning as the Giants took a 2-0 lead. But the Padres then got 2 in the fourth inning against Verlander, and then they took advantage of some really, really critical mistakes defensively by the Giants. They score 6 runs on 6 hits in the fifth inning, jump ahead 8-2, and they go on to win this game 8-4. So Dylan Cease, bit of an up and down outing. Again, the runs in the third really weren't his fault per se, even though he was charged with 4 earned runs in this game. 4 out of 4 were earned in this game. 5 innings, 6 hits for Cease. The bullpen really good. But again, I think the thing you like about these 3 wins the last few days, they were just wins where the Padres took a lead, handed things to their pitching staff, and their pitching staff shut the door like you expect them to do. So the Padres, came away with a 4-run win on Tuesday, a 7-run win yesterday, 4-run win here today. These were easier wins than what we've seen for the most part this season for the Padres, a team that, as we know, loves to play close games. But in this series, the 3 wins they got were a little bit different, and good to see the Padres not have to use all the high leverage guys day after day. They've got to use somebody out of the bullpen. So they did have to go to Estrada and Morjon and Miller and Suarez today. But when you look at this Padres bullpen, I mean, you could argue they have 6 to 7 high leverage guys in there right now. Somebody's got to pitch, so they'll use different guys every single day. The point being, there weren't a ton of high stress situations for the bullpen, and so the Padres, I would say, kind of cruise to an 8-4 win to win this series here today. With all that in mind, let's go downstairs and hear from the Padre manager.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt, served up by Sin Lee Food, where fresh meets flavor. Find farm fresh produce, bold Asian spices, and gourmet ingredients at 4665 El Cajon Boulevard. Sin Lee Food, the cook's Asian resource.
Mike, although Dylan's outing ended with the 2 home runs, your thoughts on his outing overall today?
Really good. I mean, really good. The 2 that he, on the mark early were, he made some good pitches. Balls fell in. Did a nice job overcoming it. Thought he really cruised through. Thought the stuff was crisp through 5. And long inning got him. I don't know, the homers, but overall, really pleased with Dylan today. I thought he was outstanding.
It seemed like there have been some outings this year with him where when things have started to go wrong in an inning, it's been tough for him to get out of it or put an end to it. But today, it just seemed like he was really in command, even out of the stretch throughout, even though things were going on around him.
I think that's an excellent point, Scan. I think that's spot on. Like I said, some balls fell, and he's got traffic, and he just put his shoulders back and said, all right, I'm doing Cease, and I'm pretty nasty. And he did a great job eliminating anything beyond that and just kept cruising.
The offensive outburst in the 5th inning, was that an example of you do the little things, some big things can happen?
Yeah, I'm going to go back to the 3rd, though, with Cronies at bat. We didn't score, and I should have written down the number of pitches he saw in that at bat, 12. But that's the bat that, and when he came in, he's frustrated because he didn't end the way he wanted to. But I thought Ruben made a good point to him as he went by. It's like, you just took an inning off that guy. But whether he took an inning or not, the fact of the matter is he made the gas tank go a little more dry, and so that leads to the fourth, and then leads to the fifth, and then now we're in a better situation. And yes, to ultimately answer your question, this team's equipped to beat you in a lot of different ways, and it was on display again. Last night, it's on display today. Middle of the field, I loved our approach with the runners in scoring position. Way better. Bogey with the sac fly. I thought that was fantastic. Just loved the way we were going about our at-bats there. And then the bunt game, it's real. It's part of it. And for me, he's an excellent bunter. He's been really trained well over there. And Toddy's shown it. And today put it together with the timing, good time for it, under control, boom. That's there, and then Louis follows up to move runners and we bring them in. So, today was one of the games that I enjoyed the most this year out of this team, because we didn't start off with our A game, and that's going to happen. You're just going to have games like that. The human factor kicks in, but the championship clubs, the teams that they regroup really quickly, and so. Down early, wasn't as pretty as we'd liked, wasn't as clean as we'd liked, and it was like, nah, let's kick it into gear this game, and we did, and that's what really good teams do. Really proud of the group.
Yeah, given what you just described, how important was it to be able to do that after the frustrating weekend last weekend, and considering the Dodgers are coming into town to have that kind of momentum after today?
I think it's important, regardless. Quite frankly, it's a trait that, regardless where in the schedule, that winning teams just do those things. They cover themselves in the game itself.
Like, how pleased were you with how you were able to sort of manage, or have been able to manage, your higher leverage guys? You didn't have to use them like in emergency situations, but you were able to get them some work.
Yeah, no, I mean, it helps on a lot of fronts. It helps in the sense that we have a deep bullpen. Wandy and David have contributed to that clearly as well, with the other five: Estrada, Morihone, Adams, Suarez, and Miller. No particular order, obviously. And Yuki's done his part and pitched well of late as well. But the offense, I mentioned last night, the offense being able to dictate the game and being able to take control of the game as well and be able to get leads. It sets us up to be a little more judicious. Also, we have those leads, there's a little more freedom for starters. JP was able to get through 6 last night, really big. Takes an inning off the bullpen, gets to pass that inning around. Today we ran Dylan out for the 6, but he got through 5. Got a nice lead. Then at that point, it's 8-4. We got guys that are fresh and ready to bring it home and put them in the right lanes, and they did their part.
Your final answer last night about being the same every day, and then what you just said here about regardless of schedule. I know how you feel about that. That said, Dodgers coming to town second weekend in a row. What is your level of anticipation here?
I think it's look, we're excited. I mean, listen, we're not we are human, and we are aware of what's going on, and we are aware of how we didn't put absolutely our best foot forward. We competed well, we just couldn't get on the good side of it. But ultimately it's about execution and playing the game, and I'm really excited and can't wait for tomorrow night. I wish it was tonight.
How is Jackson? What he?
The thing with Jack, more or less the same. So there's even more clarity about what he's dealing with, and so now that we've continued to narrow that down and get more specific about treatment and plan, it will only accelerate his healing. Now it's a matter of how quickly he heals, and we'll convene tomorrow and see how he feels, and we'll evaluate the next steps.
What is the official diagnosis?
Basically, it's kind of a bone bruise with some ankle sprain with that is running through a ligament, but it's nothing's torn. All the imaging's clean. Just really tender and sore. If you've had a sprained ankle, you'd know. I'm sure we all have, right?
Yeah, you said you'll, kind of decide what you're gonna do with him tomorrow. What is the consideration though with the IL versus, you can only backdate it 3 days?
Yeah, I think it's all there. I mean, we'll just get a gauge on, really, quite frankly, we're going to give every leniency to see if he can come back. But if it's just clear that we think we're going to push it and he's not going to be able to do it, we're not sure, then, we'll consider a move. But AJ will weigh in on that.
Your bullpen looks to be in really good shape for this time of year, and why do you think that is? And if you could go all the way back to the beginning, or is it aside from workload, conditioning and certain other things guys are doing?
Yeah, it's a whole
training staff.
Yeah, it's really it starts and stops with the player. Their dedication. We have a support system, and I include the field staff as a support system that's in place. And without getting on a 15-minute, dialogue here about, maintenance of bullpens and usage of bullpens that people may or may not find interesting. The highlights are our guys are really efficient with their pitches. A lot of people get, and understandably, he went 1 2/3, he went 2, he went 1 1. Outside of the up and down, which we factor in, it's the efficiency of the pitches they use. And our bullpen, they're really efficient. They throw a lot of strikes. And so the more efficient you are, then you don't have to work as hard, and the more you can recover as well. And then the recovery with this group is really A++. They're a very dedicated group, individually, collectively. They get in that training room. They take care of themselves. They show up the next day. They're very sincere about how they work. They're also, big part of this is, we do our part as a staff, and ultimately it falls on me to be clear where they can show up in games. So when that phone rings relative to the score situation and where we're at in the lineup, they almost always know and can anticipate. Really, even before the phone rings, they can start to get their body loose and start to do their plyos and whatever their routines are to get them ready. And if they don't know that, and they're constantly just all down there getting ready at the same time, or not aware of what that looks like, then that adds up. So it's all incremental things that go in our favor. And then the last thing is we trust them to be honest with us. If they need a day, they need a day. If they can only finish an inning, they finish an inning. If they are going to get up, they need to get in, they can tell us that. If they got 1+, they can communicate that. Whatever the scenarios are. And it's not about we'll figure out the puzzle. We just need to know what the availability is for the puzzle. But they deserve all the credit in the world of how they work.
Hey, Skip, we've talked a lot about how great the stadium is, but you guys now 20 games over 500 at home. Is there such a thing as Petco Park baseball? And have you guys kind of cracked the code this year on what this team might be to find the success here?
I don't know the record last year, but I felt like, early on, there was a growing to learn how to compete here with the fervor that is Petco Park, the enthusiasm, the passion. And now, it's clearly something that our club embraces and enjoys. And listen, it's hard to say it's the best, that's subjective, but because there's a lot of great stadiums that are loud and, fan bases that are into supporting their team passionately. I'd put us against anybody, though, and I can tell you this: nobody, including in the offseason when I talk to either opposing managers or players or even umpires, are like, this environment is the hardest environment to compete and focus in, and it's a real advantage for us. Grateful for it. Grateful for the faithful.
All right, grateful for the faithful. I like that from Mike Shildt. That was Padres manager Mike Shildt after today's 8-4 win for the Padres against the San Francisco Giants. Sam Levitt back with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. Speaking of the series against the Dodgers beginning tomorrow, I do want to tell you that limited tickets still remain for the Dodgers series this weekend, tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. And if you want more information on how to get your tickets, all the different options you have for the weekend, weekend, you can go to Padres.com/tickets. But again, I am being told that limited tickets still remain for the series this weekend. So don't waste any time. Get online, get on your phone, go to the box office, whatever you got to do to get your tickets for this weekend. It should be a very, very fun series. Quite frankly, the kind of series we have not had in the regular season here at Petco Park in quite some time, with the Padres well within striking distance of a division title, one game out of first place. I mean, in a regular season standpoint, it's been a long time since there's been a series like this at Petco Park, so you don't want to miss it. And if you are not joining us here at the ballpark, even if you are, you can also listen to us, of course, here on 97.3 The Fan, but go to Padres.com/tickets to get your tickets now. Let's step aside. When we come back, I do want to touch on one very interesting point that Mike Shildt made there in the post-game press conference. We'll get to our daily awards. Full look at the out-of-town scoreboard. If you want to squeeze a phone call in, 833-288-0973. Again, phone number to call, 833-288-0973. Final today, Padres 8, Giants 4. Our post-game coverage continues after this.
Hi, Tony Gwynn Jr. here for SD Fat Loss.
Back here at Petco Park, our post-game coverage continues. Padres win it 8-4 against the San Francisco Giants. Sam Levitt with you inside the Western Metal Building. Hey, player, the all-new Jamul Casino Resort is now open with a Lux Hotel Tower, rooftop pool, spa, and a long list of amazing amenities. You'll have more ways to play and enjoy all the perks of your casino fun. Jamul Casino Resort, the player's place. We'll touch on a couple of things that Mike Shildt had to talk about in the postgame in just a moment. First, let's tell you about our relief pitcher of the game.
Which pitcher entered the game and slammed the door shut? This is today's relief pitcher of the game, presented by David P. Shapiro Criminal Defense Attorneys. When your freedom and future are on the line, you need the best arm in the pen. Visit DavidPShapiroLaw.com.
Our relief pitcher of the game today, we'll give it to Jeremiah Estrada. He got 4 outs in this game, inning in the third scoreless, allowed 1 hit, walked 1, struck out 1, 24 pitches, and he really came in what was kind of a critical moment in the game. Padres had an 8-2 lead beginning the 6th inning. Dylan Cease comes out, and look, Cease was good today. The runs he gave up in the third were not on him. That ball should have been caught, no doubt. To begin the third inning, miscommunication between Tatis and Laureano. Then you had another error later in the inning. Well, the first one was not an error, but certainly a misplay that ended up being a leadoff triple. Should have been caught. An error later in the inning. So I don't put the runs in the third on Cease. And then you almost wonder him giving up the back-to-back homers in the 6th inning. You almost wonder if that was just a result of him having to wait around through what was a bottom half of the 5th inning that was great. 6 runs, 6 hits for the Padres. You love that, but it took forever. I don't have the official time in minutes on that bottom half of the 5th inning, but if you told me that was a 35-minute to 40-minute half inning, I'd believe you. It took forever. The point being, Cease is sitting around through that bottom half of the 5th inning, comes out, gives up 2 home runs to Devers, and Adames gets taken out of the game. So that brings us to Estrada coming in the 6th inning, and you know what? Got a pop-up, walked a guy, but then got an inning-ending double play and settled the game back down after all of a sudden it looked like the Giants maybe were starting to get back into it, making it 8-4. Then Estrada gives up a double, gets the first out of the 7th inning. So all in all, inning in the third scoreless for Estrada. I thought the moment he came in was actually very important in the big picture of this game. So for all those reasons, Jeremiah Estrada, our relief pitcher of the game. A couple of things I want to touch on before we get to our catch of the game. Heart of the order. We'll take your phone calls here in a second, 833-288-0973. A couple of things that Mike Shildt talked about that I want to touch on. Number one, the latest on Jackson Merrill. He is dealing with what they're calling a bone bruise along with an ankle sprain. You heard Mike say there, no torn ligaments. That continues to be consistent. The imaging has been good, has been positive for Jackson Merrill, but he has been out of the lineup for 4 days. And I talked about it a little bit earlier on my appearance with the morning show, Ben and Woods today. Look, there's no doubt. And, you know, if it was on TV, if you were here at the ballpark, just seeing him walk around, walk on the field to do the handshake line, it's not walking great, at least when I saw him last night. You know, there's a noticeable limp there. So, look, it's going to be about, I guess, a couple of things here for the Padres, if I'm looking at it from my perspective. Number one, how long do they think Jackson's going to be out? That's the first thing. How long will it take him to heal? And can they get him back to a place where, you know, he's back to 100%? And also, you know, maybe they look at it from a perspective of, okay, you know, we don't think he's going to need a stint on the IL, but he may need a few more days. And quite frankly, I think the Padres are deep enough right now where they can probably withstand that. So they may look at it where we don't want to miss him for an extra 5 days more than we have to. So it's going to be interesting to see. I kind of wondered if they were going to put him on the IL today. They didn't. So we'll see. Again, clearly it's something that's affecting him. He's been out of the lineup 4 straight days. That says it all right there. Look, you hope that, you know, it's a day or two and he's back in there. Certainly you don't want an IL stint for Jackson Merrill, but we'll see what the updates are on him in the next 24 hours, see what the update is tomorrow on Jackson Merrill. I thought Mike Shildt made a good point in the postgame press conference when he talked about the Padres not starting this game very well. And they didn't start well in 2 respects. Number one, they went 9 up, 9 down against Verlander, who was really good early on. Number 2, they had a messy 3rd inning, an uncharacteristically messy 3rd inning. You had the misplay in right center. You had the error by Cronenworth, and it was a huge reason why the Giants took a 2-0 lead. So the first third of this game was not a great showing from the Padres, but to Mike Shildt's point, they regrouped and they played much better baseball the rest of the day. Offensively, they got it going in the 4th inning. They took advantage of opportunities in the 5th inning. All the miscues the Giants made in the 4th, in the 5th. They took advantage of Verlander, who wasn't as good after the first 3 innings. How about this? The Padres went 6 for 12 with runners in scoring position in this game. We've talked about the last 5-6 games, runners in scoring position had been an issue. Not today. 6 for 12, that's great. You'll take that. That's 500. with runners in scoring position today. So they were really, really good in that department. And the reason I liked it today, this was a big game for the Padres, and I'll tell you why. Number one, the Dodgers won in Colorado. You wanted to keep pace with them with the Dodgers coming to town tomorrow. And quite frankly, this Giants team, they are not playing well right now. They're not. They throw the ball around. They really don't string hits together. I mean, they hit some home runs in this series, and it was good enough to win on Monday night, but they had essentially no offense other than these handful of home runs, mostly solo shots they hit in this series. You know, look, I know they got off to a good start. It's been really bad as of late. What are the Giants now? Let me pull up the note I had here from earlier. The Giants are now 9-24 in their last 33 games. 9-24. So I'm not trying to pile on the Giants here, but they are not playing well. And it felt like a game and a series the Padres should win. And especially, it's that time of year with the Dodgers winning in Colorado. You wanted to win today. So when it didn't get off to a good start, you're kind of sitting there saying, uh-oh. Well, now they're behind. Verlander's dealing. Can you find a way to come back and win this game? And they did. They turned the game around. So to Mike Shildt's point, it was good to see the Padres not get off to a good start, but then find it. Play better baseball as the game went along. It was a good response in the game from the Padres here today. Let's hear today's catch of the game.
Which defensive play had the biggest impact on today's game?
He is at the wall, leaps up, and he makes the catch.
This is the catch of the game.
Gonna hang a star for Jackson Merrill.
Reeled in by Anthony's Fish Grotto La Mesa, celebrating 80 years of seafood excellence.
Matos leading at second base. Now the 2-2. And lead lines it to second base. Caught by Cronenworth. And that's the second out of the inning. Matos back to second base.
Nice play by Jake Cronenworth. That was after Adrian Morahone came in. A line shot right at him. Reacted nicely. Nothing too flashy today for the Padres defensively, but that very nice fundamental play from Jake Cronenworth, our catch of the game. Certainly nothing as flashy or athletic as we saw yesterday with Fernando Tatis Jr. robbing the home run, but sometimes, hey, catch of the game can just be something kind of simple, and that's what it was today for Jake Cronenworth. Hey, helped Adrian Morahone through a scoreless seventh inning when he came in, helped the Padres bullpen through 4 scoreless innings today. Estrada, Morahone, Miller, and Suarez combining for 4 scoreless frames out of the pen. We'll get to a couple of phone calls in a second. First, let's tell you about the heart of the order.
Let's take the pulse of the Padres and check in on the heart of the order. Presented by Palomar Health, the official healthcare provider of 97.3 The Fan. Palomar Health, leading with heart for every patient. Palomar Health is reimagining healthcare.
Part of the order today, Manny Machado, Ryan O'Hearn, Xander Bogaerts, 3-4-5 in the Padres lineup. They went a combined 3 for 9 in this game with, how about this, 5 RBIs and 2 runs scored. Manny was 2 for 4 with a double and 3 RBIs. Ryan O'Hearn didn't have a hit, but did score a run in this game. Xander Bogaerts went 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs. So a nice day run production-wise from that. Part of the order, Manny, O'Hearn, Bogaerts, a combined 3 hits and 5 RBIs today. Very, very nicely done as the Padres ultimately cranked out 8 runs on 11 hits in this game. I'll tell you what, yesterday it was about the home run, 4 home runs for the Padres, second most they've hit in the game this season. Today was the opposite, right? It was the 2 runs in the 4th inning. It was stringing hits together in that 6-run 5th inning. They had 6 hits in that 5th inning. It was what the kids call, I think, a power of friendship inning in that 5th. So it was a little bit more classic Padres offense that we've seen this season. Not so much the home run ball that we saw yesterday, but hey, you'll take it. Win's a win. 8 runs. That's 8 runs on 11 hits, no matter how you get there. And the Padres did plenty offensively today. Before we squeeze in a couple of phone calls, let's quickly pause for station ID on the Padres radio network.
KWFN and KWFN HD1 San Diego.
This is Mike Shildt, manager of the San Diego Padres. The Padres play here on 97.3 The Fan.
And Odyssey Sports Station.
Padres win it 8-4. Sam Levitt with you on our Jamul Casino Resort Padres post-game show from Petco Park. Let's squeeze in a couple of phone calls here. Let's go to Mitch calling in. Mitch, you lead us off today on our post-game coverage from Petco Park. Go ahead.
How you doing, Sam? Thanks. I'm just curious, what's the story you and C's kind of disappointed this year, and you think we'll be able to keep Ramon Laureano? I think he's pretty good at pickup. I'd like to see him for a few more years in San Diego. Just gonna know what you think from him. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, you got it, Mitch. Appreciate the phone call. Let me touch on a couple of things there on Cease and Darvish. Look, Cease, obviously, it's been an up and down year. I thought he was good today, actually. I thought the runs he gave up in the third were not on him. He does give up the home runs in the sixth inning. I got to wonder how much just sitting through that marathon of a bottom half of the fifth inning, if that affected him coming out. But look, I think in the big picture, are you still searching for that dominant, more consistent version of Dylan Cease? Yes. Was he that guy today? No. So we'll see. Again, he got hurt by the third. I thought he was good today. I really did. Gives up the home runs late. So it was a bit of a weird outing to judge today. But obviously he was coming off that really tough outing against the Dodgers in LA over the weekend. And look, I think it's fair to say we're still searching for that real dominant, consistent Dylan Cease that we saw certainly at times last season. With you, Darvish, he's coming off a tough outing in LA as well. Certainly a tough first inning, although he did settle down quite a bit in that game. And look, it's going to be a big start for Darvish tomorrow against the Dodgers once again. We have seen you be really good this year. We've seen him be shaky this year. Obviously, he was on the IL for a long time before he made his debut. We'll see how it goes tomorrow. On Laureano, here's the good news, and it's one of the things that you like about the trade the Padres made with the Orioles. Laureano, who's been great, and I would imagine Padres fans and the Padres want him back for 2026. The good news is there was the team option on his deal for next season. I would imagine, based on the way this guy is playing and how he fits in, there would be a very, very good chance that they pick up that team option for 2026. I got to look up what the money is on that option, but there is a team option for 2026. And look, the Padres are going to need, a left fielder and a right-handed bat. So the good news is Laureano, I would imagine, will be here next year. So it's a really nice part of the deal that the Padres made with the Orioles. O'Hearn's going to be a free agent, but again, Laureano as the team option the Padres can pick up at the end of this season. So to me, that is very, very good news. Let's go to Ocean Beach, my neck of the woods. Let's go to Gonzo. Hi, Gonzo. You're on the Padres Radio Network. Go ahead.
Sammy, my boy, happy, beautiful Thursday. Thank you, Hamby, for taking my call. Shout out to the Levitators. Shout out to Verlander. Incredible that he's had 40-something starts, and he's only
it's 548 now.
548, and this is his fifth against us. He looked really good against us the first time around, but I'm glad we got to do a little mollywomping before we let the other people come into town. And just glad to see that we got over that little hump, and hopefully we keep the momentum going till the weekend's over and go Pods.
Yeah, appreciate the phone call, Gonzo. Look, you hope they can continue the momentum into the series against LA. It didn't happen last week, and remember, they were playing great coming off the sweep against the Giants going into last Friday, and it all came to a halt in LA. You hope that doesn't happen starting tomorrow, and we'll see. It's a big, big series. Just to touch on Verlander for a second, because you brought him up. We had a really good pregame conversation with them. Pedro Gutierrez, Padres Spanish radio broadcaster, had a conversation with him in the clubhouse earlier this week that we played today pregame. It was really, really good insight on Verlander's long career. It's really amazing. This guy started pitching in the major leagues in 2005. I was in middle school, okay? And now I'm sitting here in San Diego. So he's been around a long time. He's 42 years old. I'll tell you what, his numbers as of late entering today had been really good. You know, a lot of this today was not on him. The fifth inning got away from him, but, you know, if Casey Schmidt doesn't throw that ball away, who knows what that fifth inning ends up being. It might be a very different outing for Justin Verlander, and his overall numbers, you know, he's got sub 4.5 ERA, 100+ innings. He's not striking out as many as he once did, certainly. I'll tell you what's interesting about him, and I had this conversation during the game with somebody. He's sitting at 263 wins, and he's 42. You know, look, you wonder how much in his mind is, you know, trying to get to that 300 win mark. He's still clearly got a lot left in the tank by the way he's pitching. I think that's pretty clear. But that's a lot of wins to pick up. And, part of the thing that has really hurt him is he only got 1 win this year. He had 5 wins last year. And, so he has not kept up the pace. Whereas in 2023, he had 13. The year before that, 2022, he had 18. So the win total is really slowed down. And he's going to have to pitch, I would think, a few more years to get to 300. So is he going to do that into his mid 40s? I don't know, but he's future Hall of Famer, 3-time Cy Young Award winner. He's obviously a real star and first ballot Hall of Famer. And, kind of cool to see him throwing here today. And you just don't know, if you'll get to see him face the Padres again, right? We'll see what the rest of his career is going to hold. He's 42 already, so you never know when that end might come, when he might decide to hang him up. But I think he still looks like he's got plenty left in the tank. All right, let's step aside. When we come back, full look at the out-of-town scoreboard, play of the game, wrap things up, get you ready for tomorrow, get you to Chris Ello, Matt Scraby standing by. Final score, Padres 8 and the Giants 4 as the Padres take 3 out of 4 against the Giants this week. Our postgame coverage continues after this.
Stay tuned to the Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show. Brought to you by the all-new Jamul Casino Resort.
Back here in downtown San Diego, our Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Final score, Padres 8 and the Giants 4. We'll have our play of the game coming up for you in just a little bit. Preview the series opener between the Padres and Dodgers tomorrow. First, let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
We have a number of finals already today. The Nationals beat the Mets 9-3 in D.C. Nationals take 2 out of 3 from the Mets in D.C. Mets continue to struggle. Dodgers beat the Rockies 9-5 in Colorado. The Brewers were at Wrigley against the Cubs. They got a big swing from Bryce Terang.
Pitch home. Fly ball to right. Tucker is back. Tucker's still back and gone. Bryce Terang, a 2-run home run to give the Brewers the lead. Not an easy thing to do when the wind is blowing in off the lake. And Terang with some lefty action.
Bryce Terang, a 2-run home run. Brewers win it 4-1 at Wrigley Field. Jeff Levering on the call on Brewers Radio. The Royals and the Rangers in Kansas City. It was Nick Lofton who had a big swing for KC.
In comes a 3-2 pitch and a breaking ball that hung and banged to deep left field and gone. And Corbin would love to have that pitch back, but there's no way. Nick Lofton. That puts the Royals up 1-0. Lofton's 4th home run of the season.
Royals Radio. Royals win it 6-4. Vinny Pasquantino also had a home run in that game for Kansas City. A's completed a sweep of the Twins 8-3. They beat the Twins today in Minnesota. Games going on right now. Red Sox and the Yankees in New York. They're tied at 1 in the 3rd. Astros lead the Orioles 7-1 in Baltimore in the 3rd. Cardinals 5, Rays 1 in Tampa Bay in the 2nd. And that's a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Thursday. Padres win it 8-4 here at Petco Park. Let's hear our play of the game.
The line between winning and losing can be razor thin. Which play was the difference between victory and defeat? This is today's play of the game, presented by Bill Howe Plumbing, Heating, and Air.
Runners lead. Here's the pitch. He bunts it towards third base. Oh, it's a beauty. Picked up by Schmidt. Throw to first is wide, and it goes up the line. Laureano's on his way home, and the Padres take the lead. Now a little bit of a bobble in right by Matos, and Cronenworth will score. Oh, boy. 2 different errors on a bunt by Fermin. The Padres get 2, and they lead for the first time today. It's 4-2.
That was the play of the game, the 2-error play on the bunt by Freddie Fermin. 2 runs came in, the error at third base by Schmidt, the error in right field on Matos, and I think no doubt play of the game because it gave the Padres a lead at 4-2, broke a 2-2 tie, and it unlocked what would become a huge inning, 6 runs on 6 hits in that 5th inning for the Padres, and that was really the play that unraveled it for Justin Verlander and San Francisco. That was our play of the game as the Padres go on to win it 8-4. Taking a look ahead to tomorrow, it's game 1 of a 3-game series between the Padres and the Dodgers. First pitch tomorrow at 6:40 here at Petco Park. Our pregame coverage will begin at 5:40 from inside the Western Metal Building. Good pitching matchup tomorrow in the series opener. Padres will send right-hander Yu Darvish to the mound, and left-hander Blake Snell makes his first start back at Petco Park since winning a Cy Young with the Padres in 2023. Snell against Darvish, with the Padres sitting 1 game out of first place behind the Dodgers in the National League West. Should be quite the atmosphere here in downtown San Diego tomorrow. And again, limited tickets still remain for the Dodgers series tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. So get your tickets now. Limited tickets still available. Go to Padres.com/tickets for more information and to purchase your tickets right now. As always, if you missed any portion of our post-game coverage, you can go back and listen to all of it on the Inside San Diego Baseball podcast, available on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcasts. You can also go back on the 97.3 The Fan YouTube page and watch any portion of our post-game coverage in video form there. Final totals here today in this series finale as the Padres take 3 out of 4 from the Giants. For San Diego, 8 runs, 11 hits, 1 error. They left on 6. For San Francisco, 4 runs, 7 hits, 2 errors. They left on 5. Winning pitcher Dylan Cease, who's now 6-11. Losing pitcher Justin Verlander, who's now 1-10. Time of game in this one here at Petco Park was 2 hours and 53 minutes, and the crowd on this Thursday afternoon, 39,156. Once again, first pitch tomorrow at 6:40. Pregame coverage begins at 5:40. Until then, for our great studio coordinator, Jeff Hamby, I'm Sam Levitt saying so long from Petco Park. Again, the final score here today, the San Diego Padres 8 and the San Francisco Giants 4. We'll talk to you tomorrow on the Padres Radio Network. Winning Chris Ello, Matt Scraby today, coming up next here on 97.3 The Fan.
Thanks for joining us for the Jamul Casino Resort Padres postgame.